With all the new players coming to Overwatch 2, I thought it'd be fun to make videos on who to main, or at least try out, based off of previous gaming experience. My first video based off of Titanfall did pretty well, so I'm going to make another video with a game I have quite enjoyed in my time. So this is who to main in Overwatch, if you've played SMITE. SMITE launched their new collab today with RuneScape, which is an amazing collab by the way, so I thought it was as good a time as any to make this video. Now, SMITE has over 100 gods you can play as, and I'm not going to go through every single one of them and try to translate that to Overwatch, because I probably could do that. I'm just going to cover the basics of each SMITE category. SMITE guards are broken up into the 5 categories of Assassin, Guardian, Hunter, Mage, and Warrior. Each of these hold plenty of different play styles and adaptations of the role, but can be summarized more or less. It's kind of like how Overwatch has tank, damage, and support. So we're going to start the list off with the Hunters, as that's kind of like the introduction to SMITE when you start playing, and Neith is kind of the go-to starter god in SMITE. At least she used to be the tutorial player god. Hunters primarily use long-range weapons and utilities to stay at that long range. If you enjoy that kind of playstyle, there's a few heroes in Overwatch you can try out. Soldier 76 is like the most basic first-person shooter style hero, with the ability to heal himself while staying away from the enemies. He's kind of like going to be my go-to for every introduction. Like every new player to Overwatch should probably play Soldier just to try out how the things work in the game. Get a feel for the game sense, that kind of thing. Hanzo has a bow. He can run up walls to escape other characters who cannot follow him up those walls. And his ultimate is kind of in line with some SMITE ultimates in the Hunter category. He is the most similar to Neith probably, so if you enjoy her, you might like Hanzo, though he can't snipe through walls like Neith can. Speaking of snipers, there's also going to be Widowmaker, a literal sniper, but requires adamant aim when using her. If you don't have a background with any FPS games, maybe don't try her immediately. But if you like those certain aspects of SMITE, like those skins or whatever, you're going to love Widow. I could go through each and every Overwatch character at this rate, so I'm going to try to pick it up a little bit and move on to the Assassin category. They're usually using tactics to go behind enemy lines and secure kills, getting in and out, you know, kinda like an Assassin. So 100%, Sombra is the most like an Assassin in SMITE. She can turn invisible, similar to Loki. She can hack enemies, which disable their abilities for a moment, and she can teleport away from battle if she has set her translocator previously before engagement. And is probably the most like an Assassin in Overwatch. As of writing this, Sombra is getting nerfed today actually, so she may not be as powerful, but it's definitely the most like an Assassin if you like that playstyle in SMITE. Though if she is not what you want to do, maybe her nerf is a little bit too much for you, so you're going to go with Reaper. He's another solid option. He can teleport a short distance, he can temporarily be immune to damage, and he has shotguns. He goes behind enemy lines all the time when I play, and so he's a pretty good assassin. So if you like that playstyle, Reaper and Sombra are perfect for you. But we're going to move on now to the SMITE category of Guardians. They're essentially pretty much every tank in Overwatch could be a Guardian, but some of them don't really fit that role. Because, like, for example, Doomfist, it would be a Guardian, sort of, but he's legitimately the worst hero in the game at the moment. But there are good Doomfist players, mind you, but he's just outshined by every other character that is a tank in the game. So if you want some genuine Guardian action, I'd go with literally any of the other tanks. Zarya is being nerfed today, so she may not be the best tank anymore. You're going to probably want to go with Diva or Winston. Sigma also feels like a Guardian. He's a lot of fun. He puts up shields. Reinhardt also has a shield. But Diva and Winston are the better tanks in Overwatch at the moment. At the moment of recording, those are probably the 2 best tanks. And if you don't have good aim, Winston's your go-to guy. His primary fire does not require aim. Or Mei is back in the game now, so if you love Ymir and SMITE, she's almost essentially the exact same character. She's got the ice wall, same ultimate, everything. And then we go into Warriors, the close combat survival characters. I'll put one tank on the list. It's a little different than the rest. Drunker Queen. At the moment, she doesn't really feel like a tank or Guardian in SMITE terms. She's a lot of fun and can do well, and you can do well with her if you know what you're doing. And there aren't really too many melee-based characters in Overwatch, but Brig is one. She's like a mini Reinhardt, sometimes operating like an off-tank. She is a support hero with a shield and healing capabilities. And other than that, we kind of only really have Genji. He would probably be more likely an assassin class character though, but then I would have nobody to put in this list. So I'm putting him as a warrior. He has a big sword and he's like a ninja. He's a cool guy. And trying to finish off this video so it doesn't drag on for too long, we have the Mage category, my favorite one. Literally any of the Overwatch support characters can go here, except for probably Brig. So I'm going to recommend a few. Zenyatta and Moira are probably the most Mage-like in terms of playstyle. Zen puts out healing orbs on teammates and a debuff orb on enemies, letting those act as passives as he can deal some damage. His ultimate makes him immortal and can rapidly heal those around him. But don't ever say it negates enemies' ultimates. Overwatch 1 players will chastise you for it. Even though it almost always will keep your team alive from those enemy ults, they will kill you if you say it negates them. Moira will shoot out healing and damaging balls that can move along the map. Her ultimate's like a giant laser beam that can heal and damage, and her main way to deal damage barely requires any aim, so if you can't aim, go for her. Then we have Mercy, kind of like the Overwatch version of Aphrodite. She doesn't really do damage, and you have to stay close to your teammate to heal them with her staff. Finally though, my main pick should be obvious for Mages and Smite is Kiriko, the gameplay in the background. She can deal solid damage, especially if you can aim, but her utility is fantastic. If you aim at a teammate that's close enough, you can teleport to them even through walls. She can throw down a cleanse for herself and or her teammates, and her heals will track your teammates if you have that aim. They just won't go through walls, and it's something that a lot of teammates do not understand. And that's pretty much it. The list is a little wider and more generic when it's broken into 5 categories like SMITE is, but it still works. Honestly, you'll be able to find a similarity between like every Overwatch and SMITE character one way or another, but I'm just trying to point you into like the right direction. Comment below which game I should do next for who you should main in Overwatch if you played whatever. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.